I hope you guys are enjoying your time at the Military Influencer Conference. And he is coming on up. Hey, Brian. Do you guys know what a treat you're in for here? A career in entertainment.
Thank you, Lauren. And thank you to everyone here who hung around for the very, very last session of the conference. Thank you for not having anything better to do. And also thank you to Mick for having me. I really appreciate it. And thank you to the Military and Veterans Entertainment Awards for sponsoring my trip here. We will talk about them more later, right at the end of my thing, and I'll also mention them a couple more times. But I really appreciate all of you. When I told my producing partner, I'm a film and TV producer, as Lauren said, when I told my producing partner that I was going to be talking about how to succeed in the entertainment industry, she said, "Oh, did you find out how?" She thinks she's the funnier of the two of us, and she's not. But I will have some slides over here, and just so you know, they have other information, some of them that I'm not going to talk about, and I'm going to talk about some things that are not on the slides. So pay attention to both, and that way if I stumble along the way, you might be paying attention to the slides when that happens, rather than listening to me. Okay, thanks, Mike. I'm going to talk about film and TV, but a lot of things that I'm going to say are going to be applicable to pretty much any creative endeavor and also any entrepreneurial endeavor. So all of it's relevant, I think, to everybody. The most important thing in entertainment, which is a very, very competitive and challenging industry, is that you find out what you really, really love. You absolutely love. You can't live without it. It's like oxygen to you. Because if you can live without it, it is such a competitive field that you will live without it at some point. You will quit, you'll move on to something else. And that is not necessarily a bad thing. Because let's say you're an actor at the beginning and then you find out about casting and you really love casting. That doesn't mean you failed as an actor. It means you found someplace else to succeed. And so it's not a bad thing. But if you're going to continue on as an actor, or a director, or a writer, or producer, it's going to be very challenging. So you have to absolutely need to do it, or you won't. So you may not know that initially, but try to learn that early on so you don't waste a lot of your years. And doesn't mean you can't transition at some point. So that's fine too. And the same is true of the projects you take on. Every week somebody asks me to produce something for them, and you know, high 90% of the time I don't, because I don't have that same passion for the project that they do. Someone else does though, and they'll find that person if they keep looking. So you can see some of my projects up there. Santiago's Children I've been working on for 15 years now. And we will get it made. It's a great project, but it hasn't yet. Tiger 03, a few years less than that. 10 years for Scylla Dilemma, whereas the two TV series near the bottom, just the last couple of years. And those are probably the first ones to take off, we'll see. But it's really that's what you gotta think about. If you can't spend 7 years on a project, a film project anyway, then don't start it, you know, because it's going to probably take that number of years. When I first started out, one of my mentors who was on the board of MGM, and he was also a West Point alumnus, told me that the thing that is required to succeed in Hollywood is perseverance. And it's true. I mean, clearly, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I haven't had that huge hit. I have produced 4 feature films, 2 of them are on Amazon, so you know, things are going well. I have momentum and the projects you've seen, but it does take perseverance. At the beginning, when he told me that, of course, in my youth, well, 20 years younger anyway, not my youth, but I was thinking, okay, yeah, but I'll succeed sooner than that. Maybe yes, for many of you, but the mentality is it's gonna take a while. But I'll enjoy every step of the way. So but the thing is though, if you hang in there, you will make it. You will get to a point that you can support yourself. You're working enough that the money keeps coming in. For an actor, in LA, 7 to 10 years before you're booking stuff regularly. For a writer, maybe 5, maybe 15, somewhere in there. If you're a crew member, then you could be working over and over and over again. Once you get in with someone who likes you, they'll take you from project to project to project. And that's amazing. For producers, we don't get paid until we get a project going. So who knows how often that'll be. So you gotta hang in there. The people who love you and care about you, they will tell you to quit. They will tell you to find a real job. I was talking to a producer after a screening of a Matthew McConaughey film a few years ago, and I said, now that you made a film with a big star, does your dad still tell you to go find a real job? And he goes, yeah, just this week. And so they love you and they don't like to see you suffer. They don't like to see you struggle. It's not suffering, but it is struggling at times. And that's great. But they don't know about that passion that you have. They don't know that it's oxygen to you. They don't get it. And when you do succeed, they'll be happy for you. So just put up with the fact that they love you and that's how they express it. And just know later on they'll be celebrating with you. The road in Hollywood is varied. Some people will say there's many paths as there are people, which is maybe an exaggeration. There are many common paths. I like to say that you can be a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond, which means the big fish in a little pond is making your own movies. You know, be your own producer, your own director, your own writer, and make your own smaller budget thing, and then a bigger one, and build up like that. Sean Baker, who just won Best Picture last year, did that. You can also be a little fish. You can be a PA, production assistant, in a studio film, and then another one, and work your way up to coordinator and lead and whatever comes up, depending on your different departments. Same thing in the corporate world. If you're in a studio or network, you come in entry level, you're someone's assistant, then maybe you're someone bigger's assistant, and then you become a creative executive, and then a manager, and so on, and that's another path. And there are plenty of paths like that, agencies, and so on. Find your own. The way you find your path, the last bullet is network always. You always have to be out like you're doing here. I mean, this is an amazing networking opportunity. Hollywood has plenty of them just like that. And they're like, I go to an event at least once a week, sometimes 4 or 5 times a week. And then I meet people. I have 10,000 LinkedIn connections. I don't know all of them, but when I was laid off by Disney several years ago, I wrote to 350 people who knew me and let them know I was looking for work. And half of them wrote back. 6 of them gave me referrals to jobs. So know as many people as you can. More forgiving to them than forgetting for yourself. But it's there were other sessions on networking, so I won't get into that, but you understand how to do it. And that's how you find your path. I talked about perseverance. The military knows more about perseverance than anybody else. You've been through basic. You've been through 20-mile ruck marks, or whatever it is the Air Force does that they consider hard. You've been on 12-month deployments. You've all the stuff like that. You know, you've been through combat. You know, if you survive combat, if you survive Baghdad, you can survive Hollywood, right? You can persevere through it. You can survive. You can grow. You can thrive. I mean, and then there are other strengths that the military has: leadership, organizational skills, planning, teamwork, mission accomplishment, calm under pressure. Like when I recently had lunch with my first civilian boss. And she said, I hired you because you had jumped out of airplanes, so I figured nothing at work is going to bother you. And that's the truth in a way. Not that nothing bothered me, but communicating to civilian employers those kind of strengths that the military has given you is not going to get you an automatic job, but it will help you. You all realize that you're coming into it, and spouses too. You've been through all of this too with them. So that's the kind of thing you communicate to your entertainment hiring executive or boss, and humbly, not like, oh, I can do this. Go in there humbly, tell them the story, and make them understand how you can contribute. That might be enough for that slide. Okay, the other thing about the military that's great is there are organizations within the industry, as there are in other industries, specifically for the military. I mentioned the Military and Veterans Entertainment Awards, an amazing program that this past Memorial Day weekend had this huge awards ball at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. 800-ish people attended, most of them veterans, there to celebrate each other, to lift each other up, to connect with each other for future work, and to spread knowledge. It's an amazing organization. We'll talk about that. I won't spend my whole talk because you can hear a little bit more about it after I'm done. There's also Veterans in Media and Entertainment, VME. Something like 8,000 members across the country, mostly in LA, half of them in LA, but Atlanta, DC, New York. Those are folks who train together in classes, workshops, a lot of them online, so anybody can attend them anywhere. Network together, collaborate on projects. Some of my projects have been, one of my projects was, everyone was a veteran except for one. And I think they're all from Veterans in Media and Entertainment. So that's the kind of thing that being a veteran brings to you that you can carry on into the industry to help support you. The Writers Guild Foundation, which is the charitable arm of the Writers Guild, has this incredible program, the Veterans Writing Project, for aspiring writers. And they, for 9 months, they have you mentored by working industry writers. And it's just so fantastic. And at the end, you pitch to executives and to reps who can possibly pick you up and help you get your project made. But it's really about, then you're part of this community of graduates, like I am for the last 10 years. I went through it 10 years ago, that support each other over and over and over again. I just got notes this past year from one of my classmates, and I gave him notes back on scripts. There's all of that. And then the American Legion, Post 43 in Hollywood, Post 283 in Pacific Palisades, the commander which is sitting over there, and the head of the Women's Auxiliary, Ladies Auxiliary, what's the right term?
That was the Women's Legionnaires.
Women's Legionnaires, sorry. Both over here. Those are industry groups. Anywhere you are in America, or maybe in the world, they have American Legions and VFWs that you can join. And they may not be interesting people, but maybe there's someone there who wants to fund your film. You know, there's lots of ways that you can benefit from that. Every one of the studios, I think, and networks has a veterans group, another place to turn to. And your tribe of people doesn't always have to be veterans related. I do gymnastics. If you're in the LA area, whatever group you join is going to have film people in it. My coach in gymnastics owns a production company. One of my classmates is a vice president of a production services company. So anything you do, you'll find people to support you and do, but not from being a veteran necessarily, and you don't have to be a gymnast either, turns out. So, have a winning attitude. That's another thing that'll contribute to your success. Entertainment people are the most positive and optimistic people I've ever met, because they have to be, or else they wouldn't be in this challenging field. And they're also, despite the stereotype that we perpetuate and have created for ourselves, they are not selfish, self-serving people. 98% of the people I've met, I didn't really count them, I'm just saying about 98%, have been really supportive. I've had informational meetings with A-list producers. Peter Berger, the Lone Survivor, spent 45 minutes one-on-one with me. The president of Worldwide Physical Production for Warner Brothers spent an hour and 45 minutes with me. He's a Navy vet. A couple weeks ago, the showrunner for Paradise, the new Sterling K. Brown series, spent 40 minutes on the phone with me. And the executive producer of Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon sent me 2 really long emails of advice. And this is, the creator of She-Hulk spent half an hour with me. Everyone just gives and gives and gives in Hollywood. Be like that yourself. Not just towards other people, but to yourself, because we can be our own worst critics. Don't be your own worst critics. We know our doubts and we know our fears, and we can be consumed by them. But nobody else knows your doubts and fears. They look at you and they see you hanging in there in Hollywood, and they admire you. Your younger siblings are looking up to you. And I'm not just talking about Hollywood, I'm talking about life. Let's face it. People look up to us when we're beating ourselves up. So be positive towards yourself. Look at yourself like your kids do, like your dog does. And then you'll stay positive. And also I have on there, do the hard work. Hard work is where you'll stand out, and it's where you'll learn the most. So don't try to avoid hard work. Do as much of it as you can. All of this will add to your confidence. Confidence also is important for succeeding in Hollywood. At the very first Produced By conference, Clint Eastwood said, confidence inspires confidence. He actually said begets confidence, but in case there's some Marines here, I wanted to use a smaller word, Joe. Confidence inspires confidence, and we've all seen it in leadership, in the military, and other places. A confident leader can get everyone through really challenging times. The same is true in the entertainment industry. The same is true within ourselves. So be confident. We all tend to worry about things, but nobody has ever said, I am so glad I worried last week because that got me through it. Don't worry about things. I mean, don't be crazy about it. Just look at the things that are going well in life. You rock, you know? You have all done something impressive, whether it's being the fastest person assembling and disassembling your weapon, or if it's the winning Airman of the Month, or it's teaching your kid how to ride his bike or to swim. You have rocked in your life, and you're still the person who rocked that back then, and you still rock today. So remind yourself of that when things get a little tough, or when you have some self-doubt. And have positive word choice. Instead of saying, I know that 2 negatives make a positive, but 2 positives make a positive too. Don't say, well, here I am. Instead of saying, don't quit, which is positive, right? But it's 2 negatives, say, hang in there. You know, things like that. I mean, that's a small example, but it's really how, you know, programming yourself to succeed. I talked about networking, and I talked about groups where you can meet other people. Collaborating is extremely important in Hollywood. We can't do it all ourselves. There's never just one producer on a project. Find partners who can share the load, partners who you have a good, same mentality. However, a key factor for a good partner is one who will disagree with you. My partner, I love that she always tells me when she thinks I'm wrong, which she tells me a lot. She's wrong, of course, but I like that she thinks she can tell me that. Because I don't need someone who's gonna agree with me all the time. That's me, I agree with me all the time. I don't need someone else, nor do I need someone who disagrees with me all the time, but someone who will give me the tough love is really important. One of the people from the Veterans Writing Project recently is a more established producer. He gave me some notes back on a script and a pitch deck, and he told me he loved it, which is great to hear, but then he told me what was wrong with it. And it was that tough love that's gonna make it better. I don't wanna just hear, oh, it's so great. Well then fund it, you know, let's go do it. Oh, no, because there's something else that's wrong with it. The producer of all 3 Black Panther movies just gave me some notes back on one of my scripts. And it was like, I like all these things about it, but here are things I don't like. So I can go out and try to fix those now. Keep learning. You guys are doing that here. You're here all weekend or whatever. No, we're in the middle of the week. Anyway, you're here for 4 days, learning stuff, meeting people. I do that. I said that I go to at least 1 event a week, sometimes 5 events where I'm learning all the time. You got to keep doing that in the industry, just like anywhere else. Top corner there. I've organized about a dozen events for the Producers Guild because there was something I wanted to learn that they weren't offering, so I organized the event so I can learn it and other people can learn it. So just keep learning at all times, watch TV, read stuff, learn however you best learn. You know how you learn better than I know how you learn, so figure out how you learn best and keep doing it. This talk is about how to succeed in Hollywood. The biggest secret of that is that you're already succeeding. If you're there working. I mean, no matter what stage you're at, you have some success. So rather than think about, I have to succeed, I have to get to a certain level to call that success, instead think about, I have succeeded today more than I was a year ago. Every day we succeed, and I think we have to celebrate each one of those successes. I was working on, as a department head on a bunch of series, one of which was American Horror Stories. And the whole time I was stressing out about my next job. What am I going to do next? I got to land a full-time job instead of going show to show to show. And one night I looked around, I got a Western set. I think Disney owned this set. There are 100 extras in Western gear. There's a church on a hill that 50 crew members were lighting up for the next shot. And I'm like, what am I talking about? Here I am. I've arrived, and I'm worrying about what comes next. No, I'm there. I've succeeded already. And it just was like a weight off my shoulder. So you want to know how to succeed in Hollywood, it's to celebrate every success you have, and that will bring you more success. And that's how you succeed in the entertainment industry and how you succeed in life. Thank you very much.